Secretary and other HODs here present, the Chairman NUJ, Malam Ibrahim Musa, and other officials, members of the press representing various media houses in Zamfara State. Good morning, all. It is my pleasure to meet you this morning to brief you on the current activities in INEC Zamfara State Office in preparation for the 2023 general elections. There are many items to be discussed, but I will limit myself to 3 or 4 items. The items that I'll address, even briefly, include: 1, display of voters register; number 2, checking and assessing racks, super racks, and collation centers; number 3, receiving non-sensitive materials for distribution to all the 14 local governments in Zamfara State. There are other issues which we may touch depending on time, like recruitment of ad hoc staff and the security situation in the state. There are many other issues. Perhaps if you ask questions, we will address all those. But for now, the 3 items I listed are the ones that are currently going on. Of course, there are other things going on, also training of our staff at various levels. There's a lot of training going on now. Some of us, you can see some of the even HODs are away for training. So maybe all that is in preparation for the coming election. Today is Wednesday, 9th. On Saturday, 12th of November, the voters register 2011 and 22 registers will be displayed in the INEC office, head office here in this office, as well as in all the 14 local government areas in Zamfara State, and also all the RS, that is researching area, in all the areas, that is ward levels, in all over the state. It is important for us, for the public, to check the registers, and one to ensure first his or her name is included, and if included, to check the spellings and other details, whether they are present and whether they are correct or they are incorrectly written, and to check to see that everything is in order. If it's in order, you don't have to do anything. You are satisfied that what you have laid is accurate and you have been captured. If, on the other hand, you have been omitted, then you can also require those taken to come with the slips. I mean the slips you are given during the registration, or actually your voter card, if you are not coming for the 2021-22 register. These are if you are to make any claim or objection, we require that evidence that you have actually registered, or actually you are already registered, that is before 2021, or have actually registered between 21 and 22. And then, of course, the second one is to make objections. Objections is that you can observe not only your own name, but other names. One may notice, for example, that someone has died but is still captured. If that is so, for example, if someone you claim to have died and that has already been captured, then that is an objection, and then there is a form to be filled, and there is a process to take place. Then, of course, you can also make an objection on if you notice that some of those registered are underaged. They have not reached the age of 18, which is the required date to be eligible, the eligibility date for registration. One can make objection. And other thing, or some other reasons that you think they should not be actually, or they are not indigenous of Nigeria. All this, a voter can make such objections, and that there will be a necessary form will be given to you, and there will be an INEC officer who will interact with you, see your evidence, help you to fill the form, and the objections received and the claims received will all be collected at the end of the exercise on Saturday, 25th of November, and will forward same to Abuja. The aim of this is to verify what we have done, and to make it more legal, more authentic, by giving Nigerians benefit of checking it themselves and making necessary corrections or even objections to what we have done. This will further give authority and validity to what we have done. Of course, if I may go back a little, you remember that for 11 months between June 2021 and 31st of July 2022, members of the public who are qualified to register were invited. Those who have not registered at all and those who have reached the age of 18 came to our various offices in the headquarters as well as in the local governments and registered. At the end of the day, as you are aware, INEC is innovative. We have been introducing, and has been backed by law, new technology to assist us in give a scientific basis for recording and gathering our data necessary for election. It is in line with that BVS was introduced, and other innovations that we have engaged. Now, after the registration, on our own part, from scientific point of view, we have checked and ensured that all those who voted, who registered more than once, were made invalid. And the ones that were going to displace are the ones that we have checked that there are no double registrations. I think we have, during the period of the exercise, we have held press conferences, press releases, interacted with the members of the public to enlighten them on that you don't need to register if you already a registered voter. And but those who, for whatever reason, out of mistake or out of any other reason, registered more than once, our scientific technology were able to weed them out, and the ones that we have done actually are those that we are sure from our own end are valid. But that is not enough. The public ought to also participate in further validating the voters register, and that's why what we have now is a preliminary voters register that we are going to display, but the final one will come after November 25th, when actually all the objections are taken and all were entered into our database, and those valid claims and objections are entertained. At that time, then we would have actually the final voter register, which all the cards will be printed and be brought to the state office for onward transmission to the various local governments in the state. So we at INEC and you as our partners in ensuring democracy in Nigeria, we implore you to further enlighten the public on the need for them to check the registers to make sure that their names were there, to make any corrections and objections. And it's very important to us so that the final register of voters to be made available. The cards are made available as soon as the corrections and objections are entertained, and we hope that will be within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We'll be able to have the data ready for collection by all those who need to collect. What I mean by that is that you are aware, of course, there are those whose registration is since 2011, and those are by far the bulk majority. Those ones, there are still a number, thousands of cards that have not been collected, and that collection has been going on all the time. Even during the registration, the collection of those 2011 and earlier cards were still going on side by side. But there are also those, and even also those who corrections were made on their existing cards. Those ones are also brought to us, and we are also now being issued out at our various offices. The ones that will now be brought are the new ones, the ones that register afresh in between 2021 and 2022. Those ones, when the time comes, we will also seek your support in publicizing that and inviting. We will also hold several brief appearances and brief presence and so on, so that members could be mobilized, for them to come and collect their cards. And of course, we always rely on you, the media houses, the other stakeholders, including the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, independent organizations, MDOs, and so on, for us to actually publicize what we are doing, to come and inquire for us, and then actually to help us in achieving credible, transparent election in 2023. Also, right now, our second item, we are now also checking out. We have just finished the training for our officers from all the 14 local governments and headquarters on the places that we are going to conduct the election. In particular, RACs. RACs are receiving area centers. They are located normally in public buildings in all the RAs, that is in all the wards, in all the local governments. In one local government there are 10 wards or 10 or 11 wards also. In all those there will be a center, a primary school, a public institution, where our personnel, that is INEC personnel, both INEC staff and ad hoc staff, will be housed, will be camped, and the materials to be used for election will be camped in those areas. Now, and of course, the other super RACs are the ones that actually it will involve more than one RA, that is one ward, when actually a large public school which contains many classrooms and so that can contain actually the materials for more than one ward, that is more than one ward. That's an RA. So those are super RACs. Now, as you are aware, the last time we used those ones 2019 general election. But from then to now, for one thing, we have to assure how good are they now. Are they good enough? Do they satisfy the INEC criteria for being a RAC or not? But in any case, we have between 2019 and to date, we have also added new polling units. We are going to talk about later also. New polling units, which means there is need also for more RACs. So we need also to decide on additional racks to the ones that are present, and to assess the ones that are now there, that the one that we used in 2019. Now we are checking them to ensure that they're in good order. Those because of natural disasters like storms, and other natural disasters, or even because of banditry, some of the institutions, we want to assess how they are to ensure that there will be no problem when we come to do the election in 2019. And that's very important to us. There is a detailed procedure, a detailed list of criteria which each rack must contain. Major ones include water facilities, toilet facilities, security, fencing, and the condition of the rooms, the flow, and other conditions will make, even though it's only one day, but then human beings are going to live there. So we make sure that actually they are good enough for them to house personnel and material. And there are lots of other details, technical details, which we had to retrain our staff to ensure that they are in good order. And of course, also, like I said, the possibility of additional racks and super racks that you are going to have. Of course, in addition to racks, also the collation centers. Collation centers are where, after the election, on the election day, results are brought to that collation center, where all the results from various polling units are now added to get the total votes for each and every party, and so on at that particular level. And then also, so that those centers they are required to be. They are normally more of administrative headquarters, administrative areas, but they are not like that. Nobody's sleeping there. They'll go there for a few hours, hopefully few hours, and then leave them. But they have to know also their conditions, their adequacy, and so on and so forth. We have already started. Of course, we are preparing. It's only just about 100 days between now and general election. We have already started receiving non-sensitive materials. This is necessary because of the huge number. There are more than 126 items that will be received from the headquarters to state officers, and then finally to local government officers. And these materials, prior to that, we had to work on our stock. We have to make also a format, a guideline on what our stock should contain. We have to weed out all that is not necessary. We have to clean them. We have to make sure that they are well ventilated. We have to make a lot of preparations for receiving the non-sensitive materials that have already started coming, which are coming or now coming almost every day, and we are storing them. Actually, you can even see some of them. We have cubicles outside, which will soon be transporting them to the local government areas. So we have already started that. We will continue to do that, and we have trained our staff on the forms to fill, the numbers, the quantity, the quality, and the checking and cross-checking, ensuring that on the D-Day, that is on the election day, there are enough materials for everything. If there are any shortages on the way, if there are any damages on the way, we have all sorts of criteria, ensuring that by the end of the day, what we have are sufficient, and those where we need additional or replacement, all those are done in accordance to our guidelines. This is being done, and it will continue to be done until actually the last day. Just days to the election, before about at least a week before the date of election, all material will have been received. All material will have been transferred from the state headquarters to the local government headquarters, and as a day before the election, all those will have to go to the racks and then from the rack they go to the polling units. Let me also add on these non-sensitive materials. The sensitive materials, some of them, like ballot boxes, are housed in the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria State Headquarters. In this case, Gusau CBN. We are not kept here in our office or anywhere else. They are kept in the central bank, and a day to the election, we will go to the CBN in Gusau, retrieve them. In that process, we'll invite members of the press, party agents, national and international observers, so that they could see, and actually in line with our policy of transparency and accountability. So we'll witness the receiving of the sensitive materials from the central bank straight. Well, they could come here, but they can even be straight from the central bank actually to the even local government headquarters. But we'll be there, and all the necessary officials will be there, and that will be witnessed by you. But that's a day to election. So whenever we receive those ones, they will be taken directly to the central bank, where they'll be kept in their own custody. I will pause here on these items. I will invite the admin secretary or any other staff of INEC to add or to clarify some of the points I made or add. And then after that, we will also answer questions from you on these and maybe other issues that I have not touched. The Admin Secretary Alhaji Idris Muhammad, would you like to add or to clarify on some of the points I made? Okay. Well, I'll make a brief translation in Hausa. Assalamu. Next, yes, give him. There is someone out.
My name is Adamu Silas.
Adamu?
Silas.
Oh, Silas.
I report for AIT.
AIT.
Yes, sir.
My first question is that, sir,
Yesterday, a federal high court
so
nullified the fresh primaries conducted by the PDP on 20th of September 2022, and also gave an order restraining the commission to publish the name of this candidate that emerged on that. I don't know what is the reactions of INEC. PDP in Zamfara going to participate in the 2023 election. Then the second question is on the use of him. INEC consistently said they are going to use technology in this election. Has this paper been demonstrated how it's going to be used in Zamfara State? Has it been demonstrated how it's going to be used in Zamfara? That is my question.
This question is the same as the last one. I mean, it has been. I will answer the first question, and then the secretary will answer another question. We are aware that there are people have been displaced. We are aware that people have been We are aware that people have been displaced. Recall that in 2019, it was quite a major problem in Borno, Yobe, and in particular Adamawa states. In those states, there are large camps containing thousands of those internally displaced. And INEC then actually was able to bring out a guideline in which will allow those who are displaced to also exercise their basic rights as citizens of Nigeria by voting. But since that has been done, and we thank God it was successful, but that has gone beyond now, beyond northeast. Now in many states in the northwest, as well as north central, Niger State in particular, and other places, well, even outside the north central and other places in Nigeria too, there are many internally displaced persons. Here in Zamfara State, we are aware that there are people have been displaced, particularly in small villages. There will be raids on markets, on mosques, on villages, and so on and so forth. And that necessitated actually many people deserting their places of abode to other places. However, unlike in Borno and Yobe states, there are actually no camps. When I say a camp, meaning a large building constructed to contain hundreds, if not thousands, of internally displaced persons, IDPs. However, we also know, and we have record, we have checked, that in many places, in fact, we have record in 13 of the 14 local governments in Zamfara State, there are actually varying numbers of displaced persons, IDPs, in those local governments. We have the records, we have the roads, and so on. Here we have them. But we're also aware that issues of security is dynamic. And yes, there will be a raid is ongoing on a village, and maybe the whole village will migrate to other places. But maybe within a week or two or 1 month, things will subside and they'll go back to their places. And maybe next day another thing will happen. So this is dynamic. We have taken numbers, we are taking numbers, we'll take even more census with the help of, in fact, with the help of community leaders in various affected local governments. We're in touch with them, and we continue to take actual numbers of displaced persons, and we'll continue up to actually very close to the election. Once we have the numbers, we have the information about them. Which villages are they? In which constituency? In which RA? In which polling units? Which RA? Which constituency? Those basic information about them will make arrangements. For example, if they are all from one village, it means they may belong to only one polling unit, 1 or 2 polling units, and that can be all within an RA. We can now make arrangement in the places that they are temporarily located for them to actually vote. The preparation we'll make is actually, the numbers we get will give us the idea of the number of additional polling units, moving a polling unit from one place to a safer place, which will contain certain number of people, and so on and so forth. Indeed, even if it is intra-state, for example, between us and Katsina, between Zamfara and Katsina, or between Zamfara and Sokoto, if they move, for example, to Sokoto, as long as they are actually from the same RA and the same polling unit, we can still do that as such for that particular purpose, and the votes will be counted as belonging to their own constituencies, not actually the places of their voter. So we have the detailed, we attended courses, I personally attended course, committees that reviewed the framework of the IDP elections, and not only the framework, even the legal issues concerning all the voting and IDP camps and so on. So yes, we assure the members of the press, we assure the public that INEC is very much aware that not all Nigerians in their process of abort. Some have out of necessity or even out of natural disasters. You remember flood, although it's not during election. Flood actually devastated many towns, villages all over the country. And that may necessitate at least a temporary relocation. We are aware of that, and we are taking steps to ensure that all those displaced, internally displaced, will vote in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. On security, the same also problem. We, those of us in Zamfara, were very much aware, we are very much keen on the state of security in the state. Of course, you will look. Okay, I will do that for security in the state. We know the areas. We have the record. Even because of security, you will recall. Members will recall. We had to suspend even the registration for 2-3 months. It was then only it was brought back to Bissau later, before we finally actually started resumed doing all over. So we are aware of that. We'll make provisions. Provision in the sense that the same kind of provisions. If, for example, a place is inaccessible to do any election, we will look at the nearest safe area for election. And then we identify, it is important to identify, to avoid any legal issue, identify they must belong to the same RA, and the same polling unit in that RA. Once we know where they are, and they are from where they are and who they are, meaning where have they registered, and actually then we can make a provision for them to actually vote in that place. What happened in Northeast is that they don't actually vote in the camps, but for example, outside the camp, a safe area, all those from so ward, so village, this is the area to come and vote. So once we take the census of the actual people in a particular village, the name of the village, we can locate it, and then we identify the number of people there, and then we can now calibrate our beavers and make a provision for a polling unit outside, away from, in a safer area, so that they could actually vote. So again, we will do our best, to our best of our ability, that all those that are displaced because of security are also given the chance to also vote. And that will involve many things. One, the most actually checking close relationship or contact with the police and other security agencies to give us the numbers and so on and so forth. Understanding and support of our traditional rulers, in particular village heads, district heads, and other higher traditional officers, as well as community leaders, including religious leaders and so on, and other prominent people like rich men and so on. Those are influential members of the public. All these, we work hand in hand with them to ensure that we get the support and cooperation and assistance in actually ensuring that everybody who is eligible to vote will vote, whether in his own normal place of abode or outside. I will translate briefly in Hausa before I give. Yes.
With regard to the IDPs, some of them are forced to leave their communities. And that of which they left their activities at home. And most of the places were burnt down by bandits, including their activities. How would they work?
Well, you see, sometimes you can do as much as you can to the best of ability. If we open the door for incident form, then we're opening the door for other huge problem. Once we allow for that circumstance to allow incident form for them to vote, then other claims will come, and then it will be difficult to stop it. So I'm afraid the golden rule of INEC, that you have to be verified. You have to be verified. It must be, you have to vote yourself, and that you must have evidence of registration. And that is a golden rule. If we allow it to slip, then we'll go back to the earlier years, where actually one can come with so many claims, and then he will be allowed to vote, and all sorts of things will now question. The valid register of voters is so cardinal to the credibility of any election. So it is in that case, with regret and sadness, there's nothing really we could do, because this golden rule to ensure that all those who vote are actually credible, real people who registered, not cards stolen from somewhere, not someone else's cards and so on. You have to come with their card for you to be verified. Once we relax this rule under any circumstance, then the whole election can be questioned in that form. So we are afraid what you said is possible, but I'm sure it is on very rare occasions. And in any case, the election we have is we try to get as many people to vote. The more the people vote, the more the credibility and the more the representative, because election is the representation. The better the representation. But we know, like you said, still the voter apathy lingers, and even in the elections in other places in Britain, USA, and so on, we never get 100% turnout for election. Always in the region of 50 or even less percent of the people who will vote. So in that case, I'm afraid we cannot relax our golden rule of verification of the registration of the voters. Now that, let me just tell what I said. Assalamu alaikum. Akwai tambaya da aka yi akan wanda yanayin tsaro ya kore su daga garuruwan su suka koma wani wurin da zama, da kuma waɗanda suke saboda yanayin tsaro din dai su din kuma ya kore su daga inda suke din waɗanda. To ala kulli halin waɗannan da wanda ya ko sha'anin ruwa ko wani abin ya kore su da kuma wanda suke a tsaro ne ya kore su din. Wato ita hukumar INEC, hukumar zaɓe mai zaman kanta, tana sanar da waɗannan mutanen din, dama ba yau aka fara ba.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Silas asked a question about the, I don't know how to put it, the unification of PDP governorship primaries. Yes, what I want everybody to understand is any court order or injunction is a national issue. I'm only, my name is Idris Mohammed. Any court order or injunction is a national issue, and only the national headquarters can address that. That's all. Then the second question about the vivers. If you are opportune to make corrections during the last registration exercise, or you are opportune to make to register, the machine that was used